Here is an example of how I put a beat together. Disclaimer, please remember that there is an endless number of ways to do stuff like this. I almost always use a drum loop sample as a jumping off point. You can learn a lot this way, and it grounds my beat in something familiar and somewhat analog. I line my kick and snare hits up with those in the loop, and I often use sidechain compression to merge the two. I usually will add a shaker loop because I love the groove and the organic vibe that it adds. To make it really easy to switch out samples as the beat comes together, I often use drum racks rather than plotting the hits out as audio. When I don't do that, it is always frustrating when I get to the mixing stage and want to layer another kick or change the snare or something like that. I'm actually dealing with that right now on a flip that I'm working on. To make it more malleable though, I use a different rack for the toms, for the kick snare, which I put together in a rack called kick snare, and then for the cymbals and hats and everything like that. I'm always going to add a perk or a rim shot or something so that I can put grace notes in without the snare becoming too busy. And then usually some type of vocal hit and a couple other hype effects to give it pizzazz and an impact crash for atmosphere. As far as arrangement goes, like I said, the kick and the snare, I'm just going to follow what they do on the drum loop. For the grace snare hits, you're just going to go anywhere but the main kick and snare. Tom fills, I'm going to do every 4 or 8 bars. Effects, you really just want to mess around and figure out where you like them to sit. But for example, the impact crash is going to go early on in the loop. My name is Webb Hollow, and I'm a producer, musician, and DJ from Charleston, South Carolina. Happy creating!